But I don't know what this boat was like that they were in, but I would say it was very simple. And that's what I liked about the boats when I come to the islands. They were just simple boats, and there was, just a simple sail, nothing fancy, didn't cost them thousands of dollars. It could be anything from a simple sheet or tarp or whatever, and they were like, even the guys were rowing a little bit but they had gone out fishing, and it's so simple. It's the simple things sometimes that really, I don't know, it gets you in touch with yourself and with life. But, well then, because they didn't worry about terms, I'm sure, like port and starboard. Do you know the difference? Because I'll tell you what's the difference. One refers to one side of the boat and one side is the other, but can you keep it apart? I'll give you a thing. Port is left and starboard is right. The word right is longer than the other word, so you can keep it together that way. But port, the shorter word, is left. That probably doesn't help you anyway, but there's all kinds of terms relating to sailing. I don't think they were worrying about that, but they probably did know how to sail, because one of the things the challenge of when you're sailing is, the wind blows in one direction, but you might want to go in another direction, and that is what you call tacking. You sort of sail across the wind, back and forth in a zigzag fashion, and then you can get to the other shore. Now, whether they had to do that day, I don't know. So anyway, we've looked at these accounts in Scripture of Jesus in the boat, and Jesus was tired. Now, as I said, it was sort of it can be very kind of peaceful and stuff, and he had his head on a pillow. He'd been talking to the multitudes, and that was one of the things that was mentioned was the multitudes. And he said, we got to get away. We need a little quiet time. And as we know, Jesus relished quiet time. He would go to the garden and pray. And of all things, I don't know about each one of us, I'm sure, relishes quiet time in a special way. I personally like quiet. Sometimes I actually I'm fortunate, right? Where I work in a quiet place right now. I'm working in a room all by myself most of the time. Sometimes there's someone else there, but it's quiet. You can be alone with your thoughts. It's a wonderful being quiet. And even, other times, sometimes, I'm just happy to turn off the TV, whatever, and just sit and rest and let my mind relax, go out and sit in a lawn chair and just let the wind blow, let the leaves drop down, just enjoy the quiet. Today we're in a storm. We're not in a boat, but in a way you could look at it that way, but we're in a storm. All around us there are signs of storm. We hear of it on the news. I don't need to tell you. You hear it every night on whatever it is, CBS, CNN, NBC, ABC, how things are not how they used to be. They're not like they used to be. There is woe in this world. We live in tumultuous times, and that we're in the sea in a way, and the ocean is rough. It's rough right now. People are losing their jobs, have or will. We don't know, and I'm not here to cause panic, because I have to deal with it too, just like each one of us. We have to deal with it. So let's look a little bit more. The Bible talks to us, tells us some things about what is taking place around us. It's not ignorant of this. Not that I'm not here to make any predictions. I don't know how long this could go on. Maybe it's a thing that will pass. I don't know. I'm in the midst of the water. And, I'm like, I need God's life jacket to stay afloat. Let's look at Matthew 24. Matthew 24. And at the top of my Bible there, on the heading, it talks about a great tribulation. Now, I'm told that this is the worst economic time that we have been in since the Great Depression, which I wasn't born then, but if this is something like it, or this it resembles it in some way, and this touches each one of our lives. Matthew 24, Jesus talks of some things that would happen. Now, the scripture, Jesus talked about, we as our name, we come here on Sabbath, the seventh day, and the second part of the church's name, of our denomination, is Adventist. What does that mean? That means that we are looking for the return of Jesus. And that we're not the only denomination, that many Christians are looking for the return of Jesus. Because why? Jesus promised that he would return, right? He said, "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also." It also in another scripture that talks of that is when Jesus after he arose from the dead, he said to them, "Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye there?" He says, and he said, I will come again. So let's go back then to these signs, things that these are words that Jesus said. Beginning in verse 6, "And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and kill you, and you will be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then many will be offended and will betray one another and will hate one another." Skipping down, verse 13. Verse 13. "But he who endures to the end shall be saved." That's important. In verse 14, it says, "And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come." Let's look at this also in Mark 13.